Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial on Sew with Abby channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing how to cut and sew this beautiful bubu dress. This dress can also be styled as a kimono. If this is what you like to learn, then keep watching. Let's get into the video. Do not forget to like, share and drop a comment. A client requested for this style and I thought to film the process. The fabric I have here is African print and I used 4 yards in total to achieve this style. I already folded my fabric into 4 as I'll be cutting the back and front together. The length is 63 inches plus stitching allowance while the width is 22.5 inches. I will go ahead now to input the measurements, the first being the neck. The width is 3 inches while the depth for the back is 1 inch. Now the front neck depth is 9.5 inches. That deep because it's more of a V neckline with a placket, and from that mark I'll go in by 2 inches. Then I'll connect the point together with a straight line and draw a slant line towards the neck width. Next thing to do is to measure the shoulder pleats and the sleeve. The shoulder I'm working with is 18 inches. Divided by 2 is 9 inches. Then I'll add extra 1 inch to that 9 inches, making it 10 inches. Then from that 10 inches mark, I will get the measurements I want to use for the shoulder pleat, which is 6 inches. Now the remaining inches there is for the sleeve. I have 6.5 inches there, which is not enough for the sleeve I want. So I'll be adding extra 1.5 inches as band at that sleeve area. The next thing I want to do is to come down by 1.5 inches for the shoulder slope. Now this is not entirely necessary. You can decide not to slope the shoulder of your dress, okay? Next, I'll take the measurement for the sleeve opening. So from the shoulder slope, I'll come down by 9 inches plus 1 inch for stitching, making it 10 inches for the sleeve opening. Now I want to measure where the cowl effect will start from. I'll place my tape at the beginning of the fabric, not on the shoulder slope line, and come down by 42 inches. Then draw a straight line across. And on that line, I'll take the hip measurement divided by 4. The hip measurement I'm working with is 46 inches. Divided by 4 is 11.5 inches. Then I'll add extra 2 inches, half inch stitching allowance included, making it 13.5 inches. Now the same thing I have here, I'll measure it at the hem line. Then connect the 2 lines together. For the cowl effect, it will start here and ends at the sleeve area, and this is what it will look like. Alright guys, the next thing to do now is to come to the front neck area to mark the measurement we are going to cut out for the placket. The 2 inches I marked earlier is its wideness, so I'll measure that 2 inches all the way to the hem. Then connect the point with a straight line. And this is all for the drafting of this dress. I'll go ahead now to cut, and I'll be cutting the back neckline before I cut the front neckline. Now that I'm done cutting, the next thing to do is to start stitching, and the first part to stitch is the shoulder. I'll spread out the back piece and place each of the front pieces on it, right side facing each other. Head over to the sewing machine to stitch using 1/2 inch measurement. Alright guys, I'm done stitching the shoulder, and the next part to stitch is the side. I'll be stitching the side using 1/2 inch measurement, and this is how I'll be stitching it all the way to the hem. And when I'm done stitching this side, I'll stitch the other side as well. After stitching the side, I turn it right out and gave it a good press. The next thing to do is to attach the band I mentioned earlier to the 2 sleeves. And these are the pieces I'll be using for it. The width is 2 inches on fold, and after stitching I'll have 1.5 inch, while the length is long enough to go around the sleeve. I will pin the band around the sleeve to show us what it will look like after stitching. After stitching, this is what I will have. I will also close this part by stitching it in. After stitching the band, I stitch in the lower part, and I did the same thing to the other sleeve. The next thing I want to do is to work on the placket. Now go ahead and measure from one end of your front piece round the neckline to the other end of your front piece. In order to know the length to cut out for your placket, you can add extra 4 to 5 inches to avoid shortage, which you can always trim off the excess after attaching your placket to your dress. I've gone ahead to cut out the piece for the placket. The length is what I measured on my dress plus extra inches, and the width is 5 inches, which is 2.5 inches on fold, and after stitching I will have 2 inches. Remember, it was 2 inches we cut out from the front piece. I also added interfacing. Now I will attach it to my dress, but first I need to make a notch at the center back and also make the notch at the center of the placket. I will attach the placket to the dress, making sure the notch part aligns. Pin it down, then head over to the sewing machine to stitch. I'll stitch from one end of the front piece to the other end, and I'll be stitching with 1/2 inch measurement. This is what the placket looks like after stitching. Now for this placket, I'll be using press button to hold it together. Go ahead and take your neck measurement. For me, I use 9.5 inches, and it is from that 9.5 inches I will start tacking the press button and then stop where I want the slit to start from. At the hem of the dress, I will cut off the excess piece of the placket. The next thing to do is to mark where the shoulder pleat will be. So I'll come to the shoulder here and then turn up the shoulder line. I will place my tape after the band and measure 5 inches. My markings will not be that clear because this is the right side of the fabric. And on that 5 inches mark, I'll measure 6 inches, which is the measurement for the pleats. After measuring the 6 inches, I'll mark the center, and it is from that center I will create my pleats. I will pin it down and head over to the sewing machine to stitch just little stitch about 1/2 inch, and this is what it will look like after I'm done stitching. Alright guys, this is what our shoulder pleat looks like. I gave it a good press after stitching, and I also did the same thing to the second shoulder. The next thing to do is to fix the inner belt, which will give the dress a nice fitting, and these are the pieces I'll be using for it. The length is as long as you want it, and the width is 1.5 inches on fold. On the wrong side of my dress, I'll mark 16 inches from the shoulder. And from that 16 inches mark, I'll go in by 8 inches. And that is where I'll place the belt. I'll pin it down and do the same to the other side. I will head over to the sewing machine now to stitch. And after stitching, I have this. When you wear your dress, the belt will be tied to the back. Alright guys, the last thing I want to do here is to hem the down part of the dress. I will fold it in twice and run a stitch on it. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching guys. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly subscribe for more videos. See you in my next one.